What happens when a state runs out of money? But millions of people still have to live there. When roads crumble and no one repairs them. When hospitals close their doors and ambulances have to drive an hour just to reach a patient. When schools consolidate or disappear altogether, forcing kids onto buses before sunrise. When crime isn't just a news headline, it's part of everyday life. This isn't fiction. It's already happening in pockets across the United States. From states drowning in decades-old debt to economies built on a single shaky industry. The warning signs are here. And when the national economy falters, these states won't just struggle, they'll be the first to fall. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up the list. On paper, Mississippi's economy looks like it's still stuck in the 1980s. Nearly 20% of residents live below the poverty line, and the labor force participation rate is just 54%, the lowest in America. That means almost half of working-age adults are not working and not even looking for work. Foreign investment, barely a blip, 0.3% of GDP comes from international business. Travel through rural Mississippi and you'll see roads patched over instead of repaved, schools with outdated textbooks, and shuttered hospitals where weeds grow in the parking lot. Agriculture still plays a major role in the economy, but the state's dependence on low-wage, low-growth industries means there's no cushion if the national economy contracts. If a downturn comes, Mississippi could fall quietly, with the rest of the country barely noticing, until it's too late. Louisiana's economy is a gambler's bet on oil. When prices are high, the state looks strong. When they're not, everything slows. Over 18% of residents live in poverty, and Louisiana ranks near the bottom in healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Its rainy day fund is chronically empty. The coastline is eroding faster than anywhere in the continental U.S. Hurricanes hit with predictable regularity, but rebuilding drains funds that never seem to be replenished. Add in the fact that a single severe hurricane during a recession could wipe out billions in tax revenue, and you have a state in constant danger of economic whiplash. Michigan's story is one of resilience and repeated heartbreak. It's still the home of the American auto industry, but 38% of residents report financial hardship, the highest rate in the nation. Manufacturing makes up more than 19% of Michigan's GDP, so a global supply chain shock, like a chip shortage, can bring entire assembly lines to a halt. Detroit has fought to reinvent itself, but smaller cities and rural towns are still hollowing out. Schools close, property values stagnate, infrastructure projects are delayed or canceled altogether. If another recession hits while the auto market is in decline, Michigan's economy could see losses not just in jobs, but in entire communities. Texas likes to talk about growth, and with good reason. It's added millions of residents in the past 2 decades, and cities like Austin, Dallas, and Houston are magnets for tech, energy, and logistics. But behind the boom, 36% of residents are in financial hardship, burdened by debt, poor credit, or bankruptcy. Rural areas are deteriorating. Housing prices in cities are pushing middle-class families to the brink. And while the tech sector is growing, the state still leans heavily on the volatile oil market. Healthcare access is among the worst in the country, and social safety nets are thin. If energy prices fall and the national economy dips, Texas could see its rapid growth reverse just as quickly. Illinois isn't just in debt, it's buried in it. Its public pension system owes more than $140 billion, and the state's reserve fund is almost non-existent. The result? Property taxes are the highest in the nation, driving residents out in record numbers. 10 straight years of population decline. Even Chicago, the state's economic engine, is weighed down by debt and pension obligations. Infrastructure projects are underfunded, and public transportation systems are aging fast. In a recession, Illinois wouldn't have the reserves to stabilize itself. Cuts to public services could be severe and immediate. Tourists see paradise. Residents see one of the highest costs of living in America. Hawaii's economy depends on tourism for over 20% of GDP. A pandemic, wildfire, or airline disruption can crash the economy in weeks. Because almost everything is imported, prices for food, fuel, and medicine are far above national averages. More and more native Hawaiians are moving to the mainland just to survive. The state's debt is high, and budget flexibility is minimal. If tourism falters again during a global downturn, Hawaii could face an economic crisis that would take years to recover from. Nevada is built on tourism, entertainment, and gaming, industries that vanish overnight when people cut discretionary spending. More than 25% of the workforce depends on hospitality. In the Great Recession, Nevada had the highest foreclosure rates in the country. Entire neighborhoods in Las Vegas sat empty. The state budget is heavily reliant on sales tax and gaming revenue. No income tax means there's no fallback if spending dries up. In a downturn, Nevada could see a repeat of 2008, fast, deep, and painful. Nearly 20% of Kentuckians live in poverty. Rural counties fare even worse. Hospitals are closing. Schools are underfunded. The opioid crisis has devastated communities. The economy depends heavily on federal aid, everything from food assistance to Medicaid. Without it, the state's budget collapses. The pension system is deeply underfunded, and infrastructure is aging. Kentucky isn't just unprepared for a recession. It's already struggling to function in a stable economy. Alabama ranks near the bottom in infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Some rural areas lack clean water, broadband, or hospitals. 16.5% of residents live in poverty, and many work in low-wage, labor-intensive jobs that vanish quickly during a downturn. The state relies heavily on federal funding to keep essential services running. A national recession with budget cuts could push Alabama into full-scale crisis. West Virginia's workforce participation rate is the lowest in the nation at 55%. The coal industry has collapsed, and no alternative industry has replaced it at scale. Healthcare is in critical condition, with rural hospital closures and the highest drug overdose death rate in America. The economy relies heavily on federal aid. Without it, the state has no reserves to keep basic services running. In a severe recession, West Virginia could be the first state to see systemic economic collapse. These states may be different, but the patterns are the same. Overreliance on one volatile industry, chronic underfunding of public services, high poverty rates and low workforce participation, budgets with no reserves for emergencies. When the next national recession comes, these states won't just take damage, they'll be the ones to collapse first. The question is, are we paying attention to the warning signs now, or will we notice only after the fall?